This is my first tracks review of my General Grabber ATX tires, driving them in the snow on my 2004 Nissan Xterra. This is a 33, 12.5, 15 tire size on the stock 15x7 rims. Now when it was actually snowing, it was dark outside, so you're not going to see a whole lot in the video, so I'm going to go ahead and take my voice narration and just drop it in the audio track and make a montage of video clips showing the different conditions that I was driving in. We've got maybe about 2 inches of snow on the roads right now. So I'm just doing a couple local roads in the 35 to 45 mile an hour range. Usually around here, the local roads will have snow on it, but then the interstate's going to be pretty clear, so I'm not going to do like a highway thing. So I'm driving in four-wheel drive right now. This is in the middle of the snowstorm, so we do actually have active snow falling, and the roads are mostly unplowed and untouched. So I'm just checking them out. I got four-wheel drive. I do have the front Lokka in, so that of course changes how it operates in snow. So anytime I end up driving in snow, I always kind of feel out the conditions first by just getting slowly up to speed, hitting the brakes in a safe spot. And it seems like I've got pretty good traction here. I can hear my belt slipping a little bit. Honestly, the biggest problem is visibility right now, but traction seems to be no problem at all. Everything that I've done so far, the General Grabber ATX seems really quite planted. It's not really sliding around. I can get up to speed without any problem. And it's really pretty straightforward. So it's about what I would expect on an all-terrain tire. So I'm coming up to a stop sign right now, and you know, if I hit the brakes pretty hard, I can definitely find the traction limits of the tire, but it's really not anything bad or anything that would be really unexpected. I will turn the camera around and face out the front windshield so you can kind of see. It kind of has the, you know, Star Trek vibe going on right now once you drive more than like 20 to 30 miles per hour because you got so much snow coming at your face. So again, really in these conditions, I'm not traction limited by the tire, I am visibility limited by the conditions. But so far my general opinion is if you've had a 3-peak snowflake mountain rated tire, you know, these are right there up there with them. I've had the Cooper Discover ATP before and they've been fine in the snow as well, and these worked out really good. So yeah, no real issues, and I'm kind of punching the gas, and I mean, I'm getting good traction. I mean, I'm pulling out and getting off the stop sign and stuff, and I'm able to stop pretty predictably. So no real issues that I'm running into right now. Now, one of the things with the Lokka is that it does make the steering tight, but once you have enough, you know, slippage on the front tires, then it's not as much steering feedback, if you will. So I'm doing a sharp left-hand turn to kind of turn around in a cul-de-sac area, and I'm able to get great traction. The Lokka is not fighting me really, so it's very comfortable to drive. So I am going to turn into a parking lot of a school area because it does kind of go slightly downhill, and it has a little drop-off loop, so this will be some kind of sweeping turns, and this will give me some kind of downhill. Again, going downhill, it brakes very reliably. No real concerns with traction. The Lokka has a pretty good feedback on basically self-centering the steering wheel, so even though I'm not getting binding in the steering system, it does keep me planted. So when I'm doing like long sweeping turns like this, you know, I don't feel any ratcheting of the Lokka. And again, that's because there's snow, so it just slips. So here's a number of cones that I can kind of weave in and out that were left out, but I'm able to easily get up to speed in these conditions. You know, there's no real risk of being stuck just due to the slipperiness of, you know, snow and, you know, ice. Obviously every tire will have its limit on solid sheet ice, but I'm able to get up this slight hill around the sweeping turn. These tires really work good. I'm going to try and come to a little more abrupt stop. And so, you know, if you have functioning ABS, then that makes things quite a bit easier. So again, at this point, I am completely visibility limited. The tires are fine, and it's too dark back here to do much of anything else. So I don't want to end up on a ditch on either side, so I am crawling here. So I am coming up on a straightaway here that is pretty low consequence, so I will get up going a little bit faster. Nothing you know, over the speed limit or too unsafe, but since it is kind of 4 lanes wide here and no one to be seen, you know, I'm hitting the gas pretty hard, and I'm not really breaking traction, and I'm up to 35 miles an hour here. Now granted, this is pushing the comfort limit of what I would consider going in a situation like this. So I got about 3 inches of snow last night, and I did a review last night while it was actually actively snowing. It's probably going to be difficult to see just because it was dark outside, but I did want to go ahead and do a follow-up review the next morning. So the next morning, obviously, there's opportunity for other people to be driving on the snow, so there's more tire tracks that you can follow. It's not fresh powder, and some of the melted slush in the road is now kind of icy crystals, but the tires feel like they grip fine. The snow is a little bit crunchier this morning because it's kind of refrozen and frozen, into a crust instead of fresh powder like it was last night. Now, if you hit the brakes hard enough, you can find the traction limit of the tires. I did notice that with fresher snow, the voids between the lugs on the tires have a tendency to pack in with snow. That was just something I noticed after I was done driving, but it was not something that I felt actively limited the performance. So right now I'm on a road that's not a whole lot of powder. It's really just matted down, crusty snow, like snow and ice basically. And there is a little bit of black asphalt peeking through. So obviously when you have tire tracks, it's a lot easier to get traction and maintain traction. But there's still enough snow and ice coverage on the road that you really need four-wheel drive to be out here. So I'm getting up to around 35 to 40 miles per hour in these type of conditions right there, which to me is as fast as I would be willing to go. There's still a lot of coverage on the actual roads, makes it hard to see where exactly the lines are. So it's not something that you want to be going normal speed limit speeds on. But for the main things related to driving in the snow, in my opinion, I would say braking capability, it's very predictable. Yeah, if I punch the brake, I can find the traction limit and skid a little bit, but if you're a good driver and you know how to feather your brake, you can find out where it slips and then let off and then kind of find that sweet spot. Or if you have functioning ABS, then you don't actually have to be a good driver to be able to do that. The computer will do that for you. During turns, I don't really notice any type of understeer or any delay in the steering input. Granted, I also have the Lokka, so that influences the steering feel. But overall, I feel like these tires, they feel very planted. I had no concerns driving around in conditions like these. Like I said, this is more of a maybe once a year thing, if that, for me, so it's not something I have to do frequently. So maybe if you drive in the snow and that's a regular part, of your life in the wintertime, then, maybe you'll be able to pick up on, more limitations or performance characteristics of these tires. But from at least my experience here, it's very predictable to me, and I'm not even that experienced of a snow driver. So I hope that this video was at least somewhat interesting and useful to you. Like and subscribe if you enjoy the content of these videos. Also comment below if you have suggestions for future videos.